Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What do you get when you mix two white boys, both named Mike? A thing for Justin Timberlake and a piercing above your eye. Was he high? Their stories alone could make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Hi.
Nice hair.
Is it? Is it crazy?
Well, it's like, it's going back, but then there's like a front.
I got a 90s thing going on?
A little bit. You remember when Zach Morris had like the tussled front for a little while? He went a little messy and instead of the, full boiler room look.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you're at right now.
Oh, yeah, it's going in different directions.
Oh, you know what? I like it. It's messy. It makes you look a little rugged, but still boyish.
It's purposely disheveled. But welcome, everybody, to another episode of Irish Goodbye Podcast, a storytelling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Feeney, being joined with me, as always,
Mike Cannon on a nibble.
And here we go.
On a little nibble.
On a little stuff.
On a nibble. I feel, pop yourself up. Make sure we change the height of the chairs.
As often as possible.
As often as possible. We recorded next week's episode, so you're going to see the chair bit again. But, we really gave Alex a tough time on our first episode we recorded.
Yes.
But, nibbled up, buddy. I'm feeling good. It's coming on strong, too strong sometimes. Other times it's, like, really settled in.
Perfect.
And, I feel like it's like the perfect way to come off of the Molly episode.
Well, yeah, thank you to everybody who listened to our 200th Power Hour and did it along with us. You can go watch it right now on YouTube, listen to it.
Yeah.
People spread it around. We really appreciate it. And frankly, we're willing to do more of it, If
That's right. We're willing to degrade ourselves, completely shut down our lymphatic nodes.
Here's the thing, just that, I think here's what it was about, the lymphatic nodes. There was
Those
something,
aren't real
it
things.
sounded like
It's lymph nodes.
It sounded like a turning.
Lymphatic nodes.
But I think that there was just something to like. It had been so long since everybody drank together as a fun time with COVID and everything. Everyone's so separated. So this felt like such a good thing, and that's why I felt like I had extra energy and stuff. It was good.
I'm sorry. I'm just staring at the camera because it hadn't been on you the entire time you were talking. So I wanted to give the visual audience something to like key into and have fun with.
Thanks everybody who's in the chat who got to watch that live stream.
I just was like, wait, why am I not just staring directly at the camera?
Yeah,
that's what I should be doing.
Well, I realized I got a bunch of things.
I have so many stories, and one of them brought me back to a dark place.
Well, don't do that. Let me start with some light things then.
So unsupportive. It's like
no, I said let's not bring you to the dark spots.
I want to open up.
No, keep that for something else.
Nope.
No.
This is my private podcast.
Please don't. Yeah. So, man, I had such a crazy weekend. I went to, this Saturday, I guess it was that Saturday morning a week or two ago, whenever the election results had come in for that final
They're not in yet.
Well, yeah, the initial, the fake results.
Lot of litigation.
So
from a sweaty mascara-headed man.
So we were shooting a sketch, which has since come out. You can see it. It's called The Lineup. It's on my social media right now. And it was with Joe List and Rosebud Baker, Brendan Sagalow, Jeremiah Watkins, and myself. But we started shooting that day at 11 o'clock or whatever, and right as we're getting into the very first take,
crying
immediately, I'm just so upset. We find out it's on the news. The news is on in the background. Joe just all of a sudden goes, "Holy shit! I think it's in."
There's a president with my name.
I think it's over. Yeah, shortcut. Joe List, Joe Biden. So we all go outside, and then we just kind of watch that, which is crazy because we had this moment of we're like, man, just because of the situation of 2020, this will be one of those moments that we will remember. You could be like, oh, where were you in 2020 after the Trump thing and stuff like that? And you could be like, it's a weird moment where we can almost, you'll be able to remember it was cool. It's a cool memory to have while we were shooting and creating something to try and distract people from the hell that is outside. And then it was this weird, it was also a beautiful 68-degree day.
Yeah.
And so we shoot the sketch. Then we went.
Hang on. Can I tell you something that's really trippy about that too?
Yeah.
Is that, it almost felt as though, I'm right there with you, the city almost almost breathed a sigh of relief. It's a beautiful day out of nowhere. Everybody's outside. Everybody, you know, just coughing in each other's faces. And but it's funny that like that pressure is definitely real, but it's also a choice, and we like that could have been extinguished in other ways as well. Like we didn't necessarily need to be just balled up and super tense and just, you know, really super reactive and just, you know, and then
well, you could just feel
Does
it.
what I said just make sense?
Yeah, it does, but I'm saying you could feel that tension, and you could feel it more once it was gone, knowing that you were like, oh shit, we were just all like, everyone was just kind of like fucking bald fist walking around New York City.
You ever get in the passenger seat of your friend that can't drive, and like you're in there for 30 minutes and you're like, oh, I've been holding my fists as tight as possible for the last 35 minutes.
Stomping through the floorboards right now. Every time
he's like,
he's going. It's like when you see someone with brake lights on in front of you and they're not slowing down, they're accelerating, and you're like, come on, come on, come on. So
my mom was the worst at just being like, constantly. It gave me a born-in anxiety that I still suffer with today, because any time that my dad made some sort of sudden move in one of his various too fast cars, my mom be
I made 2 very successful little series about that.
Yeah,
about just that noise.
Now Nicole does it every time Crew leads with his head into something pointy. I'm like, you just can't stop bringing this back. It can't recircle into my life. If you get me with that, I'm firing a punch.
I've gotten you with that.
No.
Many times. It's on camera. But so, you know, it was this crazy thing where for the scene, Brendan needed a guitar, so he had the guitar out, and then all of a sudden it just seemed like a bunch of like white woke people playing Guitar Circle.
We're free.
Like we're just singing Third Eye Blind and stuff. It's like it's weird. Like we just had a moment where we were just like, all right, forget shooting for a sec. Let's all just fucking chill. Like we all were kind of sitting pretty socially distant actually, but all of it, you know, but we had a Guitar Circle form out of nowhere just because of, you know, certain people were more happy than others and, you know, and all that other stuff. But so then we go to Astoria Park, and there's it was like Andy Fiore and Khalid Rahman and who else? There was Sean Donnelly. A bunch of other comics were there doing a park hang. Ian's there with his can jam. So we start fucking playing can
loves
jam.
Getting canned in his jam.
Oh, he loves the jamming in his can.
That's what I meant. Fuck you for having the benefit of my failure.
I mean, I was about to say it, and you're like, I saw you eating the mic, like you're just ready. You're like, oh, here it comes.
Here it comes, and then I miss and
you
spin
let the
around
bat
and
go.
hit myself in the elbow.
Yeah, the bat hits a kid in the stands.
Oh, like Simon Birch.
Who?
You ever see that movie, dude? I've seen that one scene. It's like the sex scene from Monsters Ball for me, but for like violence. It's this one scene where Simon Birch, this like bucktooth, you know, fetal alcohol baby.
Yeah.
He's like kind of a chicken nugget of a man, and he's up there with his like mostly fists, kind of like sporadic fingers all over the place, so he barely has a grip of the. It's like trying to hold a bat with 2 pineapples.
Yeah.
And so he's up at bat and he swings and he lets go of the bat, and the bat travels and kills his friend's mother.
Oh my God!
It hits her in the temple, and she drops dead in a sundress in the outside of their fucking Little League game, and this kid's like, no!
Oh. Now that is a drop. Mark it immediately and give it a good flush. So,
I just meant because it was in slow motion.
his brain? Mike's crawling under the table.
I gotta tell you, it feels good to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, it really does.
So we're playing Can Jam, we're drinking, and funny you should bring up everything you just brought up, because so while we're doing this, it's me, so while we're playing Can Jam, right? It's Brendan and Ian versus Andy Fiore and I. Ian is a fucking ringer. He is so good at actually,
well, because that's what he does in his apartment. He just rips butts and throws frisbees into slots.
Yeah. So we start playing Can Jam, and right away a kid comes over, and he's like, I don't know, 7 or 8 maybe or something.
Oh, just looking to ruin the day by his involvement.
Yeah, and he's just, he was, you know, an Asian kid, and he came over, and he was like very shy.
He's
and
good at throwing stars.
He's fucking... Where
Are we not
you?
even 10 minutes in? I gotta let these loose later in the episode.
It's. I mean, frankly, that's shocking. There's no way.
Time makes no sense.
So, how long have I been talking about this one day?
I don't know.
So we're drinking in the park. We go. So the Asian kid comes over, right? He's just a cute little kid. He's wearing like a striped polo shirt and stuff. He comes over and asks Andy if he could play or something. So Andy's like, yeah, go ahead, get a practice throw. And, not consulting any of us, like, guys, we're just going to let him come in or whatever thing. So Brent and I standing there going, what's this kid do? Kid takes it, he throws it like not even halfway. We all
sticks right into Sean's shoulder.
Yeah. We all like, we cheer. We're like, hey, that was pretty good. Like, I go get it. And I'm like, all right, guys, like, we're back to the game. I throw my thing. And then, whoever throws goes next. Then it goes back another time. And like every time it got to their side, Andy just kept letting the kid try again and again. And if you give it like 2 or 3 times, and we're like, all right, we're losing daylight here, and so, and we're kind of in a tense game, and so, but he keeps throwing it not even close, obvious. Sometimes he's winging it 90-degree angle right, and then I have to
going to get it?
No!
Oh, you guys are fucking pussies. I've been yelling at kids to go get balls for a long time.
He was not in the shape. He was not.
I mean, how many things am I going to say that's potentially ruining my career if isolated?
He was not in the shape nor condition to go running after anything. I'll put it that way.
He was a fat boy?
He was. He had some.
He's a little dumpling?
Probably had some weight. So. Dumpling Boy had so he kept throwing it, and I was like, and Brendan and I, at one point, I'm going, what are we doing here, man? Like, what are we doing? And also, where are the parents? Where are the parents? They're onlooking, being like, I
mean, they're working.
They're both, he was in the park, dude.
Right.
So his family was somewhere nearby, and you're going, by the way, you're leaving him, this kid, you didn't even come over to see what we're doing. 4 adults who are drinking booze in a park in broad daylight. It's like you think about who you're leaving your child with.
Well, he probably just ran away from his 900-year-old grandmother.
Yeah, and I think you get 2. You get 2 here, let the kid tries, and then you go, that's it,
Yeah, for sure.
So whatever. So we go back.
And also, that benefits the kid. It really does, because you don't have to cater to every child in the sense that that doesn't benefit them thinking that everything stops for them. It's like, it benefits them to be like, hey, you're given the opportunity, and then, we're actually in the middle of something, so please be patient. Maybe after this, you could get a couple throws in again. That's
100%.
it. It's actually a decent lesson.
Yeah, to try, that's like, well, but they were too nice. Like, come on, what do you say something to the kid? And I was like, yes, say something to the kid. Because again, I'm not with the kid. He's a fucking, 10 yards
drunk.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And we go back, because Erica came and Greg Stone was there too, I remember, and stuff. It was a lot of fun. So we go back home. Erica makes the best frozen drink cocktail I've ever heard. And then it was like, this is all still the same day from when we were shooting the sketch. I take a quick, I think we just laid on the couch. I took a quick power nap or whatever. Then I eat some dinner. I have spots. I have New York Comedy Club, their Hudson one, which you've been to.
I
now.
just did it.
Yeah. So we go to the Hudson Mercantile place, which is fucking crazy and beautiful. It's a rooftop right on the Hudson River.
Super
it is
scenic.
Unbelievable panoramic views of the city as your backdrop.
What a time of year to do shows up there too.
It's great. Yeah. Well,
True,
now,
just whipping November winds.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Down there, 0 parking, none whatsoever, right? And I know that going in. It's all going to be no standing anytime. NYPD
I parked right across the street.
You can if you have a late spot, because after 10 p.m. or whatever it is, it's open. So, but right outside of the club on that side of the street, it says no standing anytime until 7 p.m. or whatever it was. And it had just turned 7, so it was like perfect. But all the spots were gone. The only spot that was left was a spot that my car, it was like a construction site there to the right.
This is the same day as the can jam and the frozen drink.
Same day.
Gotcha.
Oh, but that was hours earlier.
Sure.
Hours earlier. That's why else would I have told it? I would have lied. So I'm immediately, I go, how am I going to do this? There's no parking spots. I got to get upstairs to the spot. I could park here if this was a spot, but it's not a spot. And then I saw this opportunity, and I thought it was pretty shrewd of me. I saw 2 next to this construction site where the fence is to let the cars in and out. I go, what are the odds a construction site's going to come here? But I don't want to just block it. No. So I did something ingenious. I went outside, saw they had 2 cones, and I parked my car in the illegal spot and then took 2 of the traffic cones from the construction site and put them right behind my car's bumper, as if I like parallel parked into the last actual spot and then walked away from it. So it looked like I extended the parking space, right? So then I go up, and because I'm on the roof, I can go down and look and check my cars at one point. At one point, I watched a construction site, like one of just wearing like the vest.
A foreman?
And, some sort of foreman of sorts, and a traffic meter person, like a muni meter cop. Was not. I looked down there because I was panicking because I was ready to start like beeping the horn and be like, I'm coming, just to see. I was like, this just needs to buy me some time. And I look down, and they're talking and looking at the street and the cones and stuff like that. And I don't know what they were talking about. Maybe they were talking about something completely different, but all I know is I saw the construction worker say something to the person, the muni meter looked at my car, and then looked back at him and went like that, and just shrugged. I don't know if they were talking about it, but I'd like to think they were like, isn't this a spot? I don't know.
Wow.
It's got to be. The cones are there. And then walked away.
You're the Ferris Bueller of parking. That is unbelievable.
I know.
You put a body that rotates every time somebody enters your door. You're just fucking snoring.
So that's the move, guys. Get yourself some cones. I'm going to keep some cones in my trunk.
That's the move.
That's great to hear, because I took one of them. So, I just wanted to feel you out. I just wanted to tease what you would think of that situation.
You're talking to somebody whose walls in high school were primarily made up of stolen street signs.
Yeah.
I'm all about taking what you can, buddy. I mean, I had a do not enter. It was just, I had everything.
I might have taken one of the cones. But the
you should
shows,
have taken both.
I would have, but my trunk wouldn't close. They were too big.
Oh, if it's that size.
They're big.
Yeah, what is Woody crossing the street under it?
Yeah. It's pretty big. So that was great. So it's just one of those things where it was like, it was such a good day, and the shows were sold out. They were awesome and stuff. So it's just one of those weekends where in one day it felt like a full weekend in one day, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll say this very quickly, and then whatever, but I'll kick it to you. But so the next day, right? So I was like, what a fucking great day that was. The next day, it's also another beautiful day. I end up going to Central Park for more Can Jam with Ian, Joe List. Some larger celebrities were there that, maybe have once now a tarnished reputation, but are still considered one of the best comedians ever, or working, I guess I should say, was there. So we're all hanging out.
I think you kept the mystery.
Did I?
Yeah. I don't think anybody put those things
together. Should I just tell you? I'll just say it was Crystalia. And so we...
and Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. Harvey, he has COVID, or he claimed, and he got out. And
so we're all like playing Can Jam, which is awesome because I'm just hanging out because I have another spot. It's so weird. I did Park Hang, Can Jam, and then New York's Comedy Club. And then this next day, I was doing the same thing. I'm going to go to the park, hang out in Central Park for a while, and then I'll go to New York Comedy Club. Except this time, it wasn't as warm. But I remember the day before sweating in the park, so I didn't even bring a show jacket. I had just a T-shirt on and walked to the park. And by the time I got there, it was like 4 p.m., and the sun had passed Central Park.
Yeah.
So I was just in the shade, and there was a little cold breeze. So we're playing Can Jam. I'm starting to get fucking freezing now.
Yeah.
And we're all it was a good hang. There was like Diego and a couple other comics were there. We were really fun. And Brendan wasn't there because he was too hungover. Never mind. He was going to come. I pictured him there in my mind.
That was from his phoneless evening, right?
Is what? Oh yeah. Oh boy. So then I went to New York.
Now that might have been the meanest thing you've ever said about Brendan. Was genuine
concern.
Like, oh boy. I mean, we joke and we poke and we stoke, and even when he's feeling colds, we cloak. Sorry.
I was like, he's not gonna do one more. If he does, this joke will croak.
I gotta go smoke.
Everyone's tuned out. All right, so I do this. So now I leave and I'm like freezing going back to my car because it's pitch black now. And I go do the show at New York Comedy Club again. And this time, dude, it is not as fun. I am so cold. I'm so cold. And they have to socially distance everyone. So they're sitting in the seats. So everyone's in seats of 2,
This is Hudson again?
Hudson. So
that's a big ass roof.
Yes. They can seat 300. They only have 40 or 50.
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge. I was like, oh, they really sold out at a low number.
Yeah.
Way more people.
Yeah, 100%. So So I do this show, and I'm fucking freezing, which already sucks because you don't want to perform cold, as we talked about with the Coney Island show. And then these two women in the front. There's two women, and then there's like a third member of their party who, because of social distance, they put in a separate section, but 4 feet away. But they're in the front row. They're the front two, and then these other two. One of her seats empty, and her friend's there. And they're in between jokes or during jokes are talking to one another. And Ophira.
Yeah,
I always
she's
want to
so
say
funny.
Ophira, but I say Ophira because of the I.
Yeah. Nope. It's an E sound.
Yeah,
Ophira.
Eisenberg. So
Very
funny.
Check her out.
But she was saying during her set, the girl was on her phone, and she's like, great, like that's hilarious. That's how far comedy has come. The people in the front row still sitting, of course, young white woman sitting in the front row on her phone or whatever. But she also keeps talking to her friends like, I know, Crystal, isn't that crazy, blah, blah. And you're like, just either go sit with her or stop talking. You're in the front row.
Or just don't come. It's okay. Don't come. This might be it for a while. Who knows what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
It's like, but even so, we had several months locked inside where we had no connection with other people, and you're already sick of it.
Right.
You've already tapped out of like, you come to these events because whatever, it feels like you've accomplished something or done something.
And by the way, these shows are only an hour long. They're not an hour. They're not 90-minute shows. They're 60-minute or 75-minute. No, 60 or 70-minute shows. That's it. Very quick. So the fact that she was never, when she came in, she wasn't respectful. It's not like she lost, because she was for Ophira and for me and for Graham K. She was they were terrible for all of them.
I was up there the other day, and I've just full sweatpants all the time. I think I've talked about that on the show, but I can't imagine a life going back to jeans consistently again. Like, I just feel too comfortable, and this is how I can dress on stage. It doesn't matter.
Right.
The other night, I'm wearing like I got this new cool Knicks colored Jordan sweats, right? Been waiting weeks for it. It's, from Foot Action, really cool sweats. And I decided I was going to wear them on stage. And the thing that you don't realize when wearing sweatpants on stage, especially during a November whipping wind winter, is that it's super fucking cold. And what would be just, a decent lay of my penis, where if it showed an outline, you wouldn't be aghast. You'd be like, oh, that's a dick. I had like 3 balls. That's it. Like, it was the most ridiculous. I said on stage, I was like, my dick and balls right now is like the final re-rack in a beer pong game. Like, it just looks like the exact same size.
Yeah.
Cock nub to balls.
Oh, you have tight sweatpants?
I mean, no, but you can see enough. Sweatpants, like, you think they hide anything, but they don't hide anything.
No,
you can
especially
see all
gray's
dick.
the worst.
Yeah, gray. I mean, don't even get me started. I've gone out after
I think I'd like to get you started on gray.
Don't get me started on gray, because I've gone out and not realized that, like, too close to after a jerk with no with no undies, and just to get a bacon, egg, and cheese or whatever, and realize that I was still post coming. You know what I mean? Like, I've looked down and I could pass it off as like, oh, I must have busted a pen on my pants, but it was a rock solid dollop. Right on my gray sweats.
So what else has happened to you?
So rock solid dollop is the title. I just wrote rock. So I'm going way back here to a time much simpler than now. No, but a couple weeks ago, we did a day trip, me, the wife, and my baby boy. We did a day trip to Mystic Aquarium. Have you ever been up there?
I have not, but I know that's the thing to do in Mystic besides go get drunk is go to the aquarium. They're known for
It's a big
aquarium.
drinking place?
Yeah, especially with casino folk. That's where all like the staff goes. Like people, a lot of young kids go out
There's
to
a
drink.
casino?
No, the casino people from like Mohegan Sun.
Oh, it's near there?
No. It's like it's like 30 minutes.
That's how far they need to get away from where they work?
It's like
That
30 or
makes sense.
45 minutes, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
That's why one time they were like, one of the managers, he was like, dude, come on, we're going to go to fucking Mystic. He's like, we'll get there. And I'm like, and I was like doing the time, which first off, I'm like, I'm already close to home because you're in the casino drinking. So you're like, no. But then also they're like,
I've done that before. That's where cocaine takes you.
Yeah.
If you add blow to whatever you were drinking that night, you're like, I'll go 45 minutes to Mystic.
Yeah, so
and
well-
then it's 4 a.m. and you're like, I was in the place where my bed is.
Well, that's the thing too, where they go, let's leave and we'll go to Mystic, and by the time we'll get there, we'll be able to have like 1 or 2. Essentially, it would have been last call right as we're getting there, and you're like, and then I go, well, then how do I get home? And then the guy didn't offer to take me home. He just said, we'll figure it out. And I was like, nah.
Yeah, you know what?
Forever.
I don't have that much confidence in your improv skills.
Yeah, I also don't want to do any of that.
And by the time we're there, I feel like your priorities are not going to be getting me home safely.
Yeah, and also I could now have 2 here in the time that it takes to get there.
6.
To have 1.
You could get 6 in you. Are you kidding? In 45 minutes?
Yeah.
I used to take last call as a challenge.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I would,
don't
especially
doubt
on the
that.
road by myself. I remember doing, I think, Stitches in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It was the first time I met our good pal Chris, who came and gave us a nice little package at Soul Joe's.
Nice. Yeah.
But he, I met him there, and he was talking to me about Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, so he's been listening for a long fucking time. But I think the drinks, the vodka sodas were like, $2 and $3. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where I was like, how dare you?
Right.
How
this
dare
is
you?
reckless.
How dare you allow me to bring my professional game of $14 vodka sodas and trying to rack up as high of a bill as possible with those
100%.
into a $3 vodka soda place where now I'm going to try to match my city bill.
There's no shot. There's no shot you don't get as drunk as possible on $2 to $3 drinks.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, and I would order 4 or 5 at a time, and the waitress would assume that I was bringing it to comics or somebody else, and I would just walk it over to my table.
Were you sitting at a high top alone?
No, I was hanging out with other comics, but I was like, no, you guys go get your own drinks. I was an early headliner. I'd make no money.
Yeah. This is where you get paid in. Yeah. I get paid in hangovers.
So we do this. That we go to Mystic, Connecticut. It's one of those things where a couple weeks ago, obviously everything was still like kind of fine. Like the numbers weren't spiking as much. So they have like time allotments for the aquarium where you go and then they space it out till the next visitor and all that stuff. They have kind of when I went as a kid. It's so weird because I just went also to my hometown. I went to Fort Montgomery and we drove and I took Crew up to where I grew up and he has no idea, but I'm driving around that whole street and everything looked so compressed and small. You know what I mean? You ever get to a place where it's like this was giant, like your high school or something like that?
Yeah.
You're like I wasn't even smaller, but it feels like this was so much bigger.
This was because that was the world you knew. That was all the world.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. So the same thing goes for Mystic Aquarium, where I remember that's like one of the only vacations that I took with my family. We were not a vacation family. We went nowhere. I think we went to the shore once, to the fucking boardwalk, and my only memory of that was trying to hold my dad's hand while he had a lit cigarette in it, and he burned my entire top of my hand.
Fun.
Yes, good stuff. And then this one, Mystic Aquarium, I remember it was winter, and we went to a lake, and we were like, I don't know, just checking it out, like looking at the scenery, taking a walk or something like that. And then my parents and my sister got in the car and drove away. And there's a bunch of pictures of me running after the car. That's like one of the only surviving pictures of me as kids is like a 3 action pose of me just being like,
please post those.
Yeah, I gotta find them again. Yeah. I think they're at my mom's upstate, but that's all I remember about it. But then I remember going to the aquarium and being like, oh, this place is fucking huge. They have sharks. They have all these different species. It seemed like it was everything. It almost felt like a Planet Earth episode,
right.
And then I took Crew there, and it's like, oh, it's an outdoor tank for a beluga whale, which Crew and a beluga whale, they were like soul brothers.
Videos. It was adorable.
It was so funny. So Crew has his basketball because he won't go anywhere without it, and he's just pressed up against the.
You're like, I make sure of that.
No, it's even to the point where I'm like trying to take it away from him just to like show him there's a whole world out there.
Right.
But he's just all buckaball all the goddamn time. Buckaball is life. So we take him there, and he's like pressed up against the glass of the beluga whale, and the beluga whale is like, buzzing the tower and swimming and almost putting on a show, and Crew's like basically emitting knowledge back and forth between him and the whale, and he falls at one point, and the beluga whale like literally like went like this, stopped concerned, looked down at him, then looked up at us, and like looked down at him and looked down at us as to be like, pick them up. Like, what the fuck are you two doing? And it was just such an interesting thing because, I don't know, man, having a kid, it makes you it makes you think about certain like kind of psychedelic or trippy parts of consciousness and existence and the development of consciousness and where Crew is even at now. He has no recollection, but he's clearly operating on his own accord.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so weird to kind of think about all this stuff and get wrapped into that. So I kind of believe that him and that fucking animal had some sort of back and forth telepathically. And then we took him over to the penguins, and they're all over the place, and I'm just holding my son, which if you knew me, I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, you'd think like, or at least me, like I'm looking back and I'm auditing myself and who I was and what my priorities were and all this stuff. And now I'm holding my son and I'm like, this is the fucking best, dude. There's nothing I'd rather be doing in the entire world. I'm watching this kid watch the world for the first time. That's trippy. So I'm seeing him react with these penguins, and they're like, just an out there species. So he's like, what the fuck? Like, just has no idea what he's looking at. And I just start hysterically crying in the middle of this fucking aquarium. And Nicole's like, all right, let's go, ushering me off like the strong Italian husband she is.
Yeah, you're like, the beluga and the orca.
Yeah, I'm like, didn't you see? Telepathic. She's like, fucking beat it, dude. God, this is embarrassing. So then we just kind of shuttled throughout the rest of the aquarium. But it was funny to like see the outdoor animals, because inside might as well have been a fucking TV for him. He has no idea and how to discern whether or not that's glass and that's an aquarium and those are real animals or whatever. But it just like that whole experience was so cool. And just, like I said, pretty trippy, and put me in a place of like gratitude and positivity and not as angry.
And especially when you can be like, I wonder what I felt like my first time I saw a whale. And then you're like, oh, let's see what I must have thought. Yeah.
Let's see my face. See it. It's literally like I'm watching Mike Cannon, here's your childhood. But a better one. But this leads to a terrifying fucking story. So the other day, I'm about to get headshots. I'm getting updated pictures taken for like acting shit and whatever. And so I'm about to head out of the door. Nicole's with Crew. He's been like teething his balls off. He's got fucking 9 million teeth and his molars are coming in the back. And I just can't. That must have been like Wolverine shooting out the metal for the first time, just not knowing what it is. And it feels like it's tearing through both your bones and skin.
Was he crying a lot during that time?
Yeah, it's the only time he's been fussy in his life. Like I see him fighting his good nature. Like it's like almost like kind of crawling out of him, and he's like trying to smile through it, almost like Dr. Doolittle or Nutty Professor. But Eddie Murphy.
Still yes.
I know. I lost confidence.
So I get to host.
And we're back.
So he's teething, and Nicole has this ice pop, and she's holding it and kind of making sure that he's not going overboard or whatever. And I just kind of hear like, all right, spit it out, as I'm walking out of the house, right? All right, spit it out. And I'm like, what? And she's like, spit it out. And so I just stop at the door and I turn around, and she's like, spit it out. Come on, man. And he's like, and he starts choking. And I walk over to him. I'm not panicking, because the worst thing to do is panic in a situation like that.
You should have just walked up and went, that's in the call.
He just fires it out. So, but when I walk over, she's like starting to try to like fumble and get the tray off of his, what is that called? The high chair.
Yeah.
And so he looks at me, and the look of terror in his face was like, all right, I'm fucking acting now. Like he just looked so fucking scared and unsure, and just like, what's going on? Help out.
Yeah.
And so I like, I stiff arm Nicole out of the entire room. I rip the fucking high chair table off of it, throw it, break free of the straps, grab him by his stomach, put him on his stomach on my hand, and just like whack, and he shot the fucking ice cube directly out across the room. And he's just like, and then just like lays down on my shoulder, is like softly crying. Everybody's just kind of like,
yeah,
that was so intense. And then I was just like, all right, I gotta go take pictures.
Yeah.
And then I was like, got a fake smile for the camera.
Yeah, you look at Nicole.
I'll deal with you later.
No, she handled herself as best as possible. I'm actually really proud of how we both reacted, because neither of us panicked, but it is like, it's such a daunting thing because as I'm putting him on my fucking on my hand and I'm whacking him, I'm like, next steps. What the fuck do you do if this doesn't work? So I'm like, Heimlich. Do I Heimlich him?
You flip him over, you rip open his shirt, adrenaline needle, and just go.
I'm just like punching him for some reason. But I'm in my head just like, what the fuck is next? What do I do? Like, do I yell, call the whatever? And thankfully he just like hawked it the fuck out after the second thwack.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thwack is such a good
word.
Thwack is a good word.
Yeah.
Need to leave that in one of our 5-star reviews that we have, huh?
Yeah.
We got a lot of them. We need more of them.
This
Give it to
podcast will
us,
make
baby.
you want to thwack off.
Thwack. Please leave us a 5-star review. Take a second to do it. Tell a friend about the podcast. Spread the word. Please do that. We'd like as many people as possible to listen because that is how we control the world.
That's right.
Yep.
And
so-
we love it. We're getting a big bump in numbers, baby.
Yes.
Our 200th episode was very big for us. Thank you for everybody who's watching it on YouTube and
Welcome
even more
new
of you
listeners.
that have been downloading it on whatever you're listening to, streaming it. Thank you so much for checking out the pod and hope you stay.
Yes, and also we have some very exciting things going on. But first, I'll tell you, if you want to support the shows in other ways, you can go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use the promo code IGP, gives you a 2-week free trial. You get all the other episodes. We're over 200 episodes. This is only the most 15 recent are free, so you get all the other episodes beyond the paywall, all the bonus content, all the other podcasts on the network, their bonus content, yada, yada, yada. So much stuff. It also gives you a discount to podcast merch, which right there, you see we got hoodies, we got t-shirts. You can go on there. If you're not a Gas Digital subscriber, just pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we got an announcement coming here.
A big
announcement, you guys. We are doing a very limited, and I say limited as in 1 week only run of IGP holiday merch, baby.
Look at us stepping up the game for the holiday season.
We got seasonable weather.
That's right.
It's sensible and seasonable.
That's right.
We have
also pretty damn cool because listen, Irish goodbying is it's universal.
It's a culture, baby.
It's a culture. It's a way of life. If you got a fun party relative or a fun party friend that you want to get something really simple for, wearing an Irish goodbye hat is hilarious whether or not they fucking listen to the pod.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully you get them to listen
Look at
to the
that.
pod.
That
but
beanie
even
is
so, it
great.
works.
That's a perfect thing to wear if you are at any bar where it's open. You know, you have that on.
Oh, you're pie-eyed with an Irish goodbye hat on.
And
you get
they
to fucking
know.
slink out.
Yeah, you get to leave. We also, not only that, we got the IGP dad hat and snapback, basically a your regular golf kind of hat or a flat brim, and those are both awesome. We got those, and the big one, we got 3 new hoodies. Look at our faces on them. Mike and I we have them in white, red, and green. And
That's
then
right.
zoom back in on that, Alex.
Wow,
Mike,
we went full war on Christmas, huh?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
refuse to allow other holidays in.
Well, that's what white's for. I feel like that's a universal catch-all. But then there's our Christmas card.
There's a Christmas tree.
It's not even. Yeah. Well, but there's no star on it. It's
That's
just
right.
a tree. It's just
There's no
it says
Jesus.
season's greetings, doesn't it? It's not even specifically have to be for that.
It's a Hanukkah bush.
But that's the picture of Mike and I. So yeah,
Embracing.
we're doing prom pick style. And we're wearing each other's clothes. And
I
so
remember that. I'm wearing your clothes, and I remember that being one of the early times we hung out, and I definitely felt your penis pressed on my left butt cheek.
I intended you to. So I like dick.
That's how you imprinted on me.
So, guys, get those. Get that now. They're only there for 1 week, up in the store for 1 week. That's it. They're only there until the 30th, and then they're gone forever. Limited edition. Get yourself a hat. Get yourself a shirt. Get everything. And I think that's it. If you want to support us, if this isn't enough, if you don't already have a hoodie and a digital subscription, you haven't left a review. How about this? Check out our other Patreon podcast, What's the Scenario, with Mike Cannon, Brendan Sagalow, and myself, where we answer hypotheticals, and it's basically an obstacle course that you help create. It's the most interactive show on Patreon.
That's right. We do live Zooms with a bunch of our audience members, depending on Patreon tier, but we do 3 extra hours of content every single week via podcast. I do a solo podcast on Patreon, which is all about positivity because I'm trying to trick my brain. I've realized that being cynical is also a filter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's also a trick. So why not just trick myself into being positive and happy all the time? And you know what? Today it's working.
Yeah, and you can track the progress on the Patreon.
Yeah, it's slow moving.
Yeah. So, guys, and if there's anything else, I can say this because this is live. If you're listening live, I have Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Just got added on Saturday, the 21st. That's this Saturday, November 21st. I don't know why I have October 5th written on that, but
You have December 5th written there.
oh, okay, yep, nope. That's this Saturday. So. Come out to that, and if you're not, I also have just announced that I'm going to be at Comics, Mohegan Sun Comics Roadhouse in January,
Nice.
so you can get tickets to that early, and I'll be headlining and bringing the Sneaky Raccoon Sagalo with me as well. Thanks for watching the videos. I'm still putting them out every week, youtube.com/Mike Feeney Comedy /Mike Cannon Comedy and /Irish Goodbye.
Like we
podcast.
say, those things are free, but they are currency to us.
Yes.
All of your clicks, all of your subscriptions, all of your likes, all that stuff, it builds to make us worth money.
Yes, and can I say one more thing, too? I forgot to plug. I just got a Discord. My buddy set me up with a Discord. If anybody who listens is interested in the Discord link, I could send it to you, and we could chat when I Twitch and stuff like that. So hit me up for that Discord link if you got it.
Nice.
Mike, what else you got?
I don't know what that is, but Atlantic City got canceled because everybody got COVID. Literally everyone. I don't think I was allowed to say it, but everybody got COVID. The whole fucking building. And then Saturday in Colchester, Connecticut, come out to that. I got Brendan Sacalo.
Or to the other place, things are spiking. Connecticut, 12%. You're like,
Why
here we
not,
go.
baby? I mean, dude, I had such a delusional feeling about the rest of this year is I've developed all this material and feel okay about it and thought that I had like 4 or 5 headlining sets to go and I was gonna film the final one because it was also at the best club, which is Philly Helium, and I was gonna
canceled.
Canceled, definitely canceled. The only one left standing also, so I have Colchester
Skankfest.
yeah Skankfest right in a fucking pit of open syringes. But no, I have Uncle Vinny's December 3rd too, so you know I mean, he's got to fight tooth and nail to keep that one going. So hopefully anybody in Jersey, come out. I'll film that. Fuck it. You know what? I'll put it out.
You ought to.
I might as well. You know? Why not?
Yeah, we could pack that place.
So, so come out to that December 3rd. That's going to be my last road date, apparently, for the year. Feeney's got a January date, so at least he knows he's going to be a stand-up comedian in 2021.
Yeah, for the first week, anyway.
Yeah. Hey, that's longer than me, Buttercup. I have no idea.
Well, I got nothing after this Saturday, so if you guys want to see what the rest of, and unless anything else comes
We're going so hard on bonus stuff, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
just follow us digitally because you're basically going to be watching people slowly go insane, but also in a very fun way.
Yeah. And Alex, where can people find you spiraling?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar and check out my podcast, Broad Topics.
I'm literally crying so much when I found out that she canceled her flight to New York.
With my amazing co-host, Kim Congdon, who I cried over on Instagram. What did I say so far? You distracted me. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar. Check out Broad Topics every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. And you could catch it for free on iTunes and YouTube every Monday.
Hell yeah.
Yeesh.
Can I say it? And this is not so much of a story as it is a grievance I'd like to file.
Oh, let's get into grievances.
Verizon Fios.
By the way, also, thank you for everybody who defended me in the comment section of my parking story that I put on Instagram because a lot of people are debating my morality, whether or not I had the right. A couple people threatened me if I came to another city. It's a wild world out there on Instagram, and I just wanted to say thank you to the people that are saying it's a gray area, but, you know, frankly, technically, he's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think people just get mad at you. I feel like people get mad at you specifically because you're willing to be open about how fucking hardcore conservative you are. And that's what's not enough people do that.
Listen,
I respect
buddy,
that you do
like
it that
James
way,
Woods, baby. We both got to represent, you know?
Yeah,
It's a curse out here for us.
People are always like, is Mike a Cannon? Is Mike Cannon a Trump guy? And I go, big one, of course.
First of all, Trump. No, I'm a Steve Bannon guy.
Yeah.
No.
Step to the kid. Yeah, I think Trump is too soft.
So all of a sudden I'm in the middle. We're trying to watch. We just got into that show, The Boys. I just started watching it. Oh my god, this show is incredible. It's on Amazon Prime.
Michael Jackson?
No, it's about like these. Basically if superheroes were in the world, but they were celebrities like Kardashian like people, but they were superheroes.
Right.
But it's also super dark and super fucked up and super cool. And so I'm watching that, and Eric and I are loving it. And right as we start it, all of a sudden, like, the cable box loses, like, we have Fios, Fios cable, and then we have the TV is for that, and the internet is from Fios. So it's all like, when one thing goes, it all goes, right? So all of a sudden it stops working, to the point where I reset it and, whatever, nothing works. So I have to start calling customer support, which, again, it's always like those first 3 rings that you get to are all outsourced help. So none of it is ever, like, easy enough, and they also want to troubleshoot it. I bet most people call technical support, and they're like, my TV's black, and they're like, you have to press the on button, and they're like, oh, there it is.
Dude,
so,
I'm not kidding. Like, for my IT job, people asked me which was the power key. Like, I got asked that question. It's like you shouldn't have a job. You should be hitting the head with a tack hammer if you even, like, have the confidence to say that publicly.
Yeah. So
because not only do you not know, but you're also unaware of how crazy that is.
Yes. So I guess that, to his credit, maybe that's why, whatever the fuck. But I call this guy, and, I mean, he comes on. Glen, he said his name was. Glen, and so
did he sound not like a Glen?
It's the least like a Glen anyone's ever been.
More like a Glendola?
No,
Glen Darfer?
Yeah,
Darfer. What?
So
Glendaloo?
Yeah, I don't know.
I realized Glendola was like just the other witch.
Okay, but anyway, whatever. He was definitely an Indian man. 100% was an Indian man. And so, but here's the funny thing, because I had it on speakerphone as I was trying to, like, troubleshoot it, with Erica helping too. And the guy obviously knows very little English, but what he knows, he really keeps hammering home, because he goes like, hello, Mike. And then after everything that I said, I go,
what happened to the H in India? They just don't need it?
No. Nope. They don't need that or the British. And so they go, every time I say something, I go, hey, man, so the thing's not working, and now the internet's out or whatever. And he goes, hello, Mike? And I go, yes. And he goes, okay, yes. I mean, and then he would say anything. So every single time I respond, I was on the phone with this guy for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And every time they go, and now, try to reset it. And I go, okay. First, by the way, he tells me to reset it. The resetting thing, in the back of these fucking router boxes, it's a pinhole, almost impossible to the human eye. Just this little tiny thing in the back of the router. And he goes,
oh yeah, and you have to have the
paper clip,
a flat-headed needle.
No, he goes,
who owns this?
Hello, Mike? Okay, yes. I mean, now if you could just take a paper clip, and I just want to be like, what year is it on your end of the phone that you think I got paper clips lying around? Where am I? And then I have to warp it, just make it so I can press it, but that's a whole separate thing. So he goes, hello, Mike? Okay, yes. I mean, can you reply? And I plug it in, nothing happens, it doesn't work, and he just goes, and then there's long pauses, and then Eric and I at this point are mouthing. Once he starts speaking, we both go, hello, Mike? Okay, yes. I mean, so he eventually says, nothing can happen. We can't fix it. We have to send a technician. It's like Monday night. I go, great. When can the earliest they come? And he was like, Friday at 4 a.m. or something like insane. And I was like, oh, but no, because no, I don't think so. Even a little bit that's going to be you're just going to give me.
And he's like, hello, Mike.
Yeah, but yes. I mean, and I kept saying, no, that's not exactly. I can't wait 5 days for internet, television, all that shit to come. I need the internet to work.
Like, I don't have running water.
Yeah. But you got a phone, don't you? No,
in whererever he's housed.
So then he just kept going, hello, Mike? Okay, yes. I mean, that is the soonest we can send somebody. And I go, all right, that's cool, but I appreciate all the help. Go ahead and put me on with your supervisor. And then he goes, hello, Mike? Okay, yes. I mean, why... May I ask why you want to speak with my supervisor? Like, I've never heard. No one. They're not allowed to. Are they even allowed to say that? Where they just go like, "Why do you want to talk to my boss?"
It sounds like Glenn has run out of goodwill from his supervisor, and he's trying to, LO Mike his way out of this.
Yeah, well, LOL to that, because I kept being like, well, I've told you that at first. Oh, here's the other thing that pissed me off. He tried to he goes, he goes, what router do you have or whatever? And I go, I don't know, the one that you gave me, the one that I give you money
The
for.
one that's probably in my file.
Yeah, and then he goes, oh, yes, I see it now. Oh, this is old. This is very old. And I go, I've had this subscription for not even a year. So I'm
Right.
like, very old. And he goes, I know something. It will get, okay, Mike? Yes. This will upgrade everything. This will fix all of your problems. I go, great. Make it work. And then they go, we have to replace your router and it'll be an extra cost a month. And I go, oh, I'm not doing that though. I'm not paying you more money to fix something. Like, just give me the new equipment. If you're not going to, you're upselling me. He's trying to upsell me into a better package. So I go, no. Then he tries the pinging things. None of that works. Then he tries to send a technician, tells me it's going to be Friday. So I go, manager. And then at some point he starts being like, hello, Mike. Okay, I mean, I think I'm telling you everything, and I just keep going as if when you're trying to get through to the robocalls and none of your I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I just start going operator. I go supervisor, and then he goes, okay, Mike. Yes, I mean, hold on one second, and then he puts on the supervisor, and then the supervisor comes on with just a much slightly better but professional accent where you just hear it very occasionally be like. She's like, hello, Mark. Certain words slip out her and everything.
She found her H.
And she was way better. She was like, we're obviously not gonna, we're gonna freeze your bill. You won't have to pay for any of these days without the service and stuff like that. We'll fix you up with this. We'll fix you up with that. And I was like, you know what? Great. I appreciate that even better. And then
What's your name? Glen.
Yeah. I hang up the phone, and within 5 minutes, my internet comes back on. Everything just started working again. I got on the phone, all of a sudden it started working again, and then they're like, we canceled your appointment. You didn't
As
need
if
it.
a genie granted you a wish.
Oh, well, because wait a minute, that's the other thing about this fucking guy that made me snap, because he goes, I'll send the technician, I'm already pissed. I go, put it down, but I'm not happy about this, and I want to talk to the supervisor. And he goes, okay, I just need you to sign this thing telling me that, he basically was saying, if they come over and they find out it's a problem on one of their routers, it's fine. But if they come over and they find out that it's something on my end, then they charge me $100 for the appointment to come in. And I'm like, if anything's broken, it's on your end because it's yours. And you see how you can't fix it? That means there's a problem with your machine. He goes, okay, but just in case, you have to sign or else they can't release. And then he's asking me, and he's like, do you promise to be 6 feet away with a mask on and not touch them and not be in here? And making me write this whole contract. And I'm going, I'm not fucking agreeing to any of this shit. What are you talking about? You're trying to sell me on 3 separate things. You're trying to fucking jam me in the ass when I'm trying to get charged. I'm not trying to get that, man. I just want my fucking internet. And then it came back anyway.
So nobody came?
Nobody came.
I would have still wanted them to come by.
Then I would have had to pay $100.
But you would have gotten a new modem.
No, but I would have had to pay for that extra monthly.
Oh, I thought the lady set you up.
She was going to set me up, but then I think they were just like, just fucking fix the kid's internet.
Oh.
They flipped the on switch, you know? I don't know. I still don't know what happened to it, but it fucking was a nightmare, and Glenn was no help.
Yeah. Well, it's a frustrating thing when you're trying to save your own job and failing at it. Dude, I remember being in IT, and so my job initially there, and I've explained it several times, but for the new, I came there kind of as an office manager, slight day-to-day Mac maintenance on people's personal machines, right? So in the interview, I didn't know this, but my buddy's mother got me the interview, and the first question was like, so you're a Mac specialist? And I was like, my whole life, yes. Yeah, my whole life I've been a Mac specialist. I never had a Mac in my life. My only experience with it was going on the internet on my sister's Mac. That's it. Once. And so I lied. They didn't give me any follow-up testing, whatever.
That's what's crazy, is that they didn't give you any follow-up. Not even all right.
I got tested for temp agency. Temp agencies put you through a rigorous testing systems where they want to make sure that you know Excel and Word.
Because you got to get dropped in anywhere.
Right. So, which I did. And, I got away with what I got away with. But then for IT, I knew nothing. And so it goes by with a couple months of that, which every time I was asked to go to somebody's computer, I was basically having a panic attack every single time. I acted.
That was the Adderall.
Well, that definitely didn't help. Yeah, me also on 40 milligram, 220 milligram instance, and then walking around 40th and Lex ripping butts for 15 minutes a day. Yeah, that definitely doesn't slow your heart rate. So every time I would get called to somebody's desk, I'd have a panic attack. My dick would be in my body. Also from the Adderall, I pissed on my balls throughout my entire corporate life. It was just awful. I like made me uncircumcised again. Just puts your little fucking dick inside your fucking body. It sucks. Really fun, but sucks. So I remember this one day in particular. I was getting by in the skin of my teeth, right? Like I think I had it between 6 and 9 months, so it was getting into a rhythm. I knew the job or whatever. I knew, certain issues were bigger than others. I'd have more panic when those came along, and others I kind of knew how to do. Then the entire server broke. Like one day where New York City, that office is the hub, the home server, which I have to maintain, from our Japan office, from our Chinese office, New York City, London, and South Norwalk, Connecticut.
Oh my God.
What a weird just kind of dash of what.
Yeah.
Also in there. And I am left to now network, troubleshoot, tap into each individual server and try to fucking figure out exactly what has to happen, upgrade certain things, defrag and fucking shock the PRAM and, fist my own asshole. And the entire room looked like some hoarder's maniac tech closet because the guy before me just like, it was one of those like also probably on Adderall, like kind of just all over the place and decided he wanted to design out of nowhere. So then joined that team and that's why they brought me in. But the whole room was cobwebs of wires, Ethernet everywhere. There was literally servers hanging off of the fucking rack, and I had to reorganize, replug in, reset up, reestablish, and hook up a cloud-based sharing system for every single office in our company, and I did it.
How?
I fucking did it. I don't know. The tech guy from South Norwalk helped me a little bit, and then I Googled a lot of the rest.
I was going to say, were you just the teacher's manual? You're one step ahead of the kids?
Dude, I like doing that with the pressure on, and granted, it took a week. I mean, that whole thing was like, it was insane, right? And
how long should it have taken?
Probably that long, but maybe like 3 days. But it took me a full fucking 5 days and probably a little bit of the next Monday. But it was like one of those things where after that, I'm like, you could throw me in on an island with a hatchet, and I'll come back fatter.
Yeah. How do you think that, and there was never any problems with it even after it launched?
It failed all the time. I mean, it constantly was having problems. They had to bring in the other tech guys from even Seattle. There was a Seattle office. He had to come and redo everything I did.
I was going to say, did they know it was your ineptitude, or did they think it was?
Yeah, of course, but at that time I had built a culture in the office where I was giving fake hand jobs to all of my friends and then buying everybody on the company.
2000, when?
This is like 2009, maybe, no, 2011.
You think you weren't there in 2017 still, because that would have been pretty bad. That was right when the Me Too started.
I would have been finished. Hey! I would have been absolutely finished, and not from any female. It would have been sexually harassing a dude that I didn't realize was gay yet. Yeah. It would have been his first day, and I'm like, who's a big boy? And he's like, come on.
You're like, I have a feeling about you.
He's like, I have a feeling about you.
That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.